Hi, I'm Karina McLeod from eCommerce Nurse, and I'm going to be continuing to talk about Amazon Europe. I've already spoken about whether or not there's opportunity in Amazon Europe. I've also talked about the operations part. So now I'm going to talk about actually selling on Amazon and what you need to consider when selling on Amazon in Europe. So this is a great video for those sellers that have come over, typically from the US, and you're looking to expand into Europe. And first off, once you have got your account set up, and we're assuming you've got your account set up in Europe, either Seller Central or if you've been invited to Vendor Central, and that you've got your inventory sorted. So you forecasted your inventory. You're either Amazon have placed an order on the vendor side or on the seller side. You've decided, for example, you might be going FBA, you've raised a shipment and you're sending in a certain amount of inventory to fulfill the demand that you anticipate. So once you've done all of that, you want to get your product set up in the catalog, and you want to then start translating and localizing the product content. And that includes titles, bullet points, product description, as well as anything like your A+ content. Even if you've just chosen to sell to the UK and you've been selling from the US, do make sure that you localize the content. Don't assume that everybody in the UK speaks American English. What is expected is that you translate that content into British English. Just be aware of that, because there can be different meanings for certain products. Also, the big question I'm always asked is machine-based translation or human-based. I'll always go with human-based, because there are aspects that a machine just doesn't translate well. And at the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself, if you were a customer and you went to a listing that had poor grammar, didn't make much sense, would you actually purchase the product? Probably not. That's what's going to happen to your listings if you use a machine-based translator when selling in Europe. It's a quick way to do it, but you're not going to see that real conversion, because a lot of customers are going to be put off. They're not going to want to make that purchase. And especially if you're a new brand into the market and you're competing with competitors, and they could be native brands, you've got a lot of work to do. So make sure that you do translate. As I say, we recommend using certified native translators. If you need any support there at eCommerce Nurse, we have a translation team that consists with translation and localization, and they understand what is needed when it comes to translating for Amazon. You also want to make sure that you update the copy on your product images and any other graphics, your graphics, for example, on your A+ content. Now, a long time ago, we were unable to localize product images. They were all global, which meant that if you changed the wording into German and uploaded the images, those images would then appear in the US and every other marketplace. Now you can actually, there's tools out there for brand owners, and there's a tool just naturally available on Vendor Central for businesses to be able to localize their images and upload their images at country level, which is fantastic that Amazon have finally made that tool available to a number of businesses. Also, make sure that you update your copy and audio for any videos as well. That's something that's really important. Now, also, it's about managing keywords. So do your keyword research in each marketplace that you're going into, because keywords don't translate very well. There could be one word that means has one translation in one country. You could translate it in many different ways in another country. So make sure you do that, because to really optimize your listings, you want to make sure that you've captured any keyword that is relevant to that specific product. And as I said, translations don't capture that. So we do that as part of our translation process. We use tools such as Helium 10 again and ZonGuru to understand what are the keywords within for specific products. Then once you've got your product listings all optimized, translated, localized, they look fantastic, your graphics have been all updated, you want to then set your sponsored ads up. Now, the question here is whether or not you use somebody local or not. And when I say local, meaning that understands and is a proficient speaker of that language. And so you could just run, if your budget is tight, you could run auto ads. But as you know, if you're running auto ads and manual ads, auto ads, you aren't as efficient, because Amazon could be bidding, you could be bidding on certain keywords. that aren't necessarily relevant. And if you don't know that language, it's a bit hard to manage those negative keywords as well. So we say always use somebody that is a proficient speaker of that language to manage ads, you know, if you want for full efficiency and to really maximize the return. Now, I'm giving guidance based on what the ideal scenario is. I appreciate that budget might be different and might be tight in some areas. And so it might be that you have to run auto campaigns to start with. And then as the business starts to get more sales, you can hire someone that can manage your ads for that specific country. Or you might run manual ads and use somebody to identify the keywords. You set the campaigns up, and then they can review the keywords later on to identify potential negative keywords, etc. So there's different ways in which you can manage that. And of course, if you want any guidance on that, we're there to help. We also can manage your Amazon ads for all European marketplaces as well here at eCommerce Nurse. One last thing to highlight is that if you have to set up your product with a completely new barcode, because it may have different ingredients for the European market or different packaging, etc., it will result in creating a completely new ASIN, which means any of the product reviews that you had generated in, for example, Amazon on Amazon.com will disappear and you will be starting again from scratch. If that's the case, unfortunately, there's no way around that. Having a different barcode is because the product is effectively different. And so it is a case of having to generate reviews again. So it's using tools such as Amazon Vine, enrolling in Amazon Vine to generate those reviews as well. So hopefully that gives you some tips. We also have a checklist, if you haven't seen it already, on our website on ecommercenurse.com. And if you download that, it will give you everything that you need to consider from the point of identifying opportunity to operations to selling, helping you through your European journey. If you want to know more, as I said, we are there to support you at eCommerce Nurse. We manage accounts at a European level for sellers and vendors. We also do marketing support if you need help with optimizing your listings, translating your listings, localizing your listings, your brand stores, your A+ content, updating your images, etc. All of that we can manage, as well as giving you that guidance as to whether or not you should actually even expand from, for example, Amazon US over to Europe. So thanks for listening, everyone.